Infrastructure is in, it is shovel ready, it is ready to go, it's at the intersection, and these are parcels that will be able to be marketed to specifically to some logistic companies that we have had to turn away because they will only go on the interstate. And this piece along the front here on 87, Bill Pullum will keep, and that's zoned commercial. If you drive out there, you can see that everything's in. The water's in, the sewer's in, stormwater's in, and it's very attractive to us to be able to have a piece that we can get companies into now. And what we could bring back Thursday is Bill has made us a very attractive deal as far as how to finance it. There is two appraisals. The appraisal that the county had from Sean Brantley, and I'll let Bill Pullum address this, but my understanding is he is comfortable with that price. Again, he would need to respond to that, but if that's the case, then we believe that it just makes sense to go ahead and at least get that one parcel behind us and then discuss the rest of it at the workshop later on in January. Generically, what we've talked about is putting a down payment that would pay Mr. Pullum back for the infrastructure, because there is a note outstanding on that, and then the remainder would be carried over a 10-year period where we would be obligated for interest only for a period, certain period, possibly 10 years. However, there will be a caveat that as we sell that property, those proceeds, as opposed to going into the park fund, which is what we have done like in the Santa Rosa Industrial Park, that money will go back and pay towards the principal of the property, back to Mr. Pullum.
What would be the advantage of the county owning it over Mr. Pullum owning it and selling it?
The discount. The private sector does not discount based on the quality of a prospect. And that is what makes this county so attractive, is that we are able to put those discounts in place based on the quality of the company.
What is our current inventory of industrial property, acreage-wise, out of the industrial park?
We have, the only large parcel we've got left is about a 40-acre parcel on the newly opened Opportunity Drive. There are some smaller parcels over on the very west side adjacent to the airport, and then there's a couple of little 2-acre pieces.
And over the last 2 years, how many acres have we sold out of that park?
I don't know offhand. I will tell you that we pulled a map the other day of about 6 years ago, and there was only about 6 or 7 companies out there, and now we've only got those parcels left. So it's been very attractive. We can bring that back to you if you'd like.
I guess what I'm asking is what's our burn rate on our current inventory, and when are we going to run out?
Okay, we can bring that.
Mr. Pullum had an appraisal done on his property. The interesting thing about that appraisal is the comparisons that he made in sales. He used Gulf Breeze and Panama City.
Right.
Although we have an industrial park in Santa Rosa County, none of those properties were used to compare apples to apples with, which I found very interesting. But that's his appraisal. The county's appraisal, on the other hand, had some very interesting wording. And this appraisal was that considering the real estate market, it should be considered a speculative purchase.
Right.
Because you don't know if the price is going to go up.
Well, that report also pointed out that there has been no industrial property at all sold in 2008.
Right, and you know, here's the issue. I think the big issue with me is that our very own team, Santa Rosa, they do claim that an acre of property in our park right now, the value is $30,000. But when you factor in, they get discounts for you know, so many employees and the infrastructure that they put in, There's a whole list of things they get discounts on. None of that property's ever sold for $30,000. You know, and so we get everything out here. It's 45 1-acre lots for $2.5 million. Now, you know, I had to get my pencil out and cipher on that a little bit. It's about $55,000 per acre, and you know, in this, you know, my big thing here's 2 issues. To start out with, this item was not on the agenda.
It was slipped in at the last minute at the county commission meeting.
It was slipped in at the last minute. Now, the one thing that was interesting is that commissioners didn't have that on their paperwork as a printed out agenda item, but the ones that were on the table for the citizens to pick up, it was already printed as an agenda item. It was added at the last minute.
Just a quick $2.5 million at the last minute.
Just a quick $2.5 million. You know, I mean, $1 million here, $1 million there. Pretty soon you're talking about some real money. The commissioners, with that said, did not have a lot of background information. You haven't done your due diligence, and this is one of them. You know, I just don't think for a minute. I think it's difficult for a commissioner to know everything about everything. The county is complex, and there's a lot of stuff that flies by them. But you have to do, staff members have to do better than 1 or 2 pages of background information over a $2.5 million deal.
Well, and they've got one appraisal here that they ordered.
Once
and
again,
apparently there was no negotiation. That it was, here's what we think it's worth. Well, let me get out my checkbook.
Right.
It's not my money.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our chairman, Commissioner Salter, he's enamored with this deal. Here's the checkbook. We have enough money to cover the down payment, so yeah, we'll go ahead and write that check.
And let's also mention that we know from county email traffic that this has been in the wind for a couple years
since
now.
2006,
and that Team Santa Rosa has actually been corresponding with the property owner
to work this deal.
Mr. Pullum, to work the deal, and actually stated in an email, we're going to buy this from you. Here's what you should do first.
Right. And an important point we need to make right here, ladies and gentlemen, and we've asked the state's attorney's office to get involved with this. This is an organization that has never had a public meeting. Listen carefully to me. They've never had an advertised public meeting. Yet we have email traffic where they are making a deal behind your back, you the taxpayer who are paying over 90% of the total cost of the operation of Team Santa Rosa, and this gets stuck at the last minute on an agenda item when no citizen was allowed any time. Actually, well, we knew ahead of time that it might get stuck in there.
Right.
And so we were looking for it. And sure enough, there it was.
And once again, they basically asked commissioners to approve buying a piece of land at a premium price in the middle of a real estate downturn.
I would say it's definitely a premium price, and there's a couple other points in there. Team Santa Rosa has been actively marketing this property on their webpage, along with other properties that they have.
With very little luck.
With zero luck.
Right.
No industrial lot sold in 2008 in Santa Rosa County. And one of the questions that I ask, if Mr. Pullum, who has been very successful in Santa Rosa County, who has friends around the world, business associates and acquaintances, if he can't sell a lot in here, how in the world is Santa Rosa County going to sell a lot?
And why are we supposed to assume the risk for that what's basically speculative land buying? Why do we have to assume the risk? You know, why can't the private landowner who made the decision to buy that property deal with the risk?
Well,
I don't want that risk.
No, it's zoned industrial. If somebody comes along and needs an industrial piece of property near the interstate, they can contact Mr. Pullum. Mr. Pullum, I'm sure, would be happy to sell them a piece.
Or another owner of some 2,000 acres of industrial land in industrial parks that's available throughout this county right now, sitting empty.
Right, and you know, it never ceases to amaze me. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we get a few more tips than the average bear gets. We knew it was coming. We didn't know exactly how it would come, but boom, there it is. And I'll tell you, I certainly was not happy about it, and I went forward and asked a few questions, and you know, Deborah always gets a kick out of it when I go up there, so I hope y'all get a little enjoyment out of this. This is me at that county commission meeting asking some questions about this.